I do not want to be limited by my past. I see that my past is a vital part of my present and where I've come from to get to where I am now. But I choose and I make the choice to not be limited by my past. My past has been a stepping stone. It has been a journey for me to get to where I am now. And I am forever grateful for all of the lessons I had to go through. But from this point forward, I keep my focus on what I want to be moving towards. I come from a childhood of really low class upbringing. I had food, I had a home, and I had family that loved me. But there were some very tight times comparatively to many of my friends. And I remember there was a lot of hardship. There was a lot of family drama. I've lost loved ones. I've lost friends. I've lost my dad. I lost the man who was like my dad. There are many things in my past that could dictate and control who I am now and who I'm going to be. And I feel like we have these patterns running all of the time of your past dictating your future, being bound by the chains of what has been and feeling unable to break free. And it's like this is just a test. All life is we're here to expand. If you think of a flower growing in the ground, the only intention that flower has is to grow, to expand, to give its beauty to the world, to give its scent to the world, and then to go back to seed. How are we much different as humans? Yes, of course, we need a bit more of a home and a stable security than flowers do, and we have maybe, more brain functioning. But essentially, we are the same. We are here to grow and to expand. And what happens so often is that we can get stuck halfway up the sprout, halfway up the stem, and feel like that's all there is. And there's this potential for this beautiful flower within. But how are we going to get there? And how are we going to see that flower pop? And it's just a dream. And, my mom didn't do it. And her mom didn't do it, and her father didn't do it, so I'm not going to be able to do it. The way I see it is, you're here to break the chain. You're here to break those chains of could have beens and actually make it I have done this. I can do this. Life is evolution, and so too are our lives and our lineage. And if you ever get stuck in this place of, I just can't do it, I'm just going to end up like everyone else, and can't make my break, I can't live the life I want, that's just operating from a past mindset. You have full power to create what you want now. And I speak this because I know it, and it's a work in progress. I'm acting it in process every single day, taking action upon it. Because what you need to have to break the chains of the past is some drive, is some inspiration within, a connection to your spirit that says, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be that. I'm going to create that. I believe in myself. I'm going to break this chain of complacency and settling. I can do this. And I work with lineages, so I tune into my lineage. What did my lineage want to do? But it felt complacent, or it didn't have the opportunity. It didn't have the right surrounding or environment to go after her dream, to go after their dream. How can I be the living embodiment of breaking that chain? And when we decide to break the chain, many things will push against us. People, circumstances, situations. People will tell you, I've had someone tell me, who do you think you are? You grew up in a poor family with nothing to your name. Don't forget where you came from, like you are nothing. And I really had to hear that and be like, wow, there is something in me that still believes what this person is saying. So how can I heal that part of me and hear that voice is just crying out for help, saying, oh, you're really trying to break the chain. I don't know how to do this. It must not be possible. I don't believe it. I'm so stuck in my own pain. So a huge part of how to break the chains is whenever life sends you triggers or reflections that are against the way you're growing and expanding into life, just see it as a message, see it as a test to pull through. This test is saying, let's see how much you really want it. Let me try to subdue your ego here. Let me try to put you back in your place. And if you're like, boom, no, I'm still stepping up. Life's like, okay, let me open a door for you. But if you're like, oh, maybe that person's right, then you totally shrink and numb yourself and your potential. Potential never goes away. Potential is always there. The number one way to break these chains of the past is actually to take action, to create a consecutive flow, to create this momentous flow of action that's coming from you. So, for example, I've committed to 40 days, 50 days of making YouTube videos. So every day for the past 9 days, I've created a video and posted it. And I'm holding myself accountable, and I have good friends holding me accountable. And as I commit to this, I see that all of my other projects, the sessions I do with people, my Mayan readings, my programs that I'm creating online, they are flowing. People are coming to me. And I see that that pattern is breaking itself as I commit to creating and giving myself to life. It takes the commitment. It's more than just the thinking. It has to be this integration of inspiration and action. This inspired action will break those chains effortlessly. Staying inspired has been so key for me. If I hadn't stayed inspired when I was growing up in a home where there was financial oppression, financial destitution, a lot of financial struggles, emotional, alcoholic, abusive things, if I hadn't stayed inspired and fed my spirit, I would have gotten crushed. I would have been so resigned from life and detached and numbed out, but something in my spirit was like, I've got to stay inspired here. Yes, the trying times are here. The playing ground is rough, but what can I grab onto that's going to feed my spirit? I grabbed onto books. I grabbed onto learning. I grabbed onto sports and fitness and nature and spending time in nature and observing plants and anything that fed my spirit, and especially things that are alive, things that help you grow. So if you're in a trying time and you feel squeezed, maybe you're that girl that I was watching this and you're 14 years old in a household where you feel so misunderstood and so unsafe at times, how can you get inspired? How can you lift your spirit up into something, even if it's a bit of an escape, even if you're going into fantasy books or you're going out in nature and playing with the trees? Find a way to feed your spirit. And those blocks of the past, those chains of the past will cripple. They will not be able to sustain that force of inspiration and passion. Third tip is to find mentors, find friends, find places that teach you, find good family members that can help you keep focusing your vision on what you want. It's not the easiest thing, it is easy to idolize others who have broken through, or at least it seems they have, and they're living this life that is beyond the container of their past. And, there's so many famous people in the world now, like Oprah Winfrey and Tony Robbins, and so many influential figures who had really rough upbringings, poverty, abuse, financial problems, relationship problems. There is an endless amount of people who struggled so deeply. But that struggle was actually their launching pad. It was their rocket fuel. So my invitation is, if you're wanting to overcome the chains of your past, look at those chains and see what they're made of. See the power that lies within these chains. See how this can be converted into the most fucking amazing fuel that's gonna skyrocket you to your desires. Because it's known that our wounds are actually our greatest gifts. So my wound is abandonment. I have this fear I'm gonna be abandoned by the ones I love. And this fear of abandonment is actually my gift to give to the world, because it's the opposite of abandonment. It's intimacy. Because I fear abandonment, I create intimacy. I create love. I create deep connection, wanting to see others. And this is what I do with my work, really seeing others in readings and astrology and seeing their gifts and helping them find their purpose. So find what it is that's your wound and love that wound, because that wound is actually your greatest gift. Whatever it is you're trying to break free from, see how you can twist it and get creative with it and turn it so that you then end up with this treasure that is your life and your gift to life. It's so possible to get back up after we've been at our lowest. I've been at my lowest probably 3 times in this past year, I kid you not. 3 times this year of just heavy stagnant, depressed, so emotionally blocked. And by doing these things, by staying inspired, by surrounding myself with friends and mentors, by feeding my spirit, by looking at my wound as my gift, I've been able to come up into my highest points and accept that life is going to have these dips and these highs, these dips and these peaks, and this is part of life. It's here to teach us. And if you've chosen this path, it's a real treat, because you will always be learning, you will always be growing, and it can seem exhausting, but once you learn the rhythm, the exhaustion actually goes away, and it's the most nourishing thing in the world, because you see when that dip is coming, and you know that you're in store for another total upgrade. So it's like, how much can you give yourself to that dip and learn from that dip to break the chains of the past, to reclaim that wound and then soar to a new height. This is all what's available for us, and it inspires me so much to look at life this way and to do life this way, because there are so many voices that are going to tell you you'll amount to nothing. Who do you think you are? You've never done that before. I'd like to see you try. But for all of those voices, if there's just one voice inside you saying, yes, I can, yes, I will, you watch me, you're fine. You're gonna be amazing. You're gonna do everything you want. And here's one more voice telling you, yes, you can. Yes, you will. You're gonna be amazing, and you already are amazing.